Oh, look at these turkeys.
Look at these turkeys. All right, now the intro. How am I? Am I audible at this point?
I did not get most of that.
That's great.
I did it.
That's great. I'm gonna do the intro.
I am very confused.
It's so great.
All right.
I might keep this in at the beginning. You will know why we are having difficulties.
Welcome back to Bold of You to Say, where we are having Wi-Fi difficulties. So I can't hear Alex very well, but he can surely hear me. So yeah, we talked about things and news stuff and but Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, we talked about Cocaine Bear this week for the movie.
That's about it. That's all I know.
The big news minute story. A judge has nuked the Internet Archive. Basically like the biggest internet library may soon not exist, at least in its current form. Follow me on social media. Don't follow Gavin anywhere. Don't do it. It's unwise. Don't do it. Share the show with a friend. Tweet our clips, tweet our episodes, etc., etc. You know how it is. Even if you haven't listened to this show, you've listened to a podcast. You know what they say. Give us money. Patreon, $1 a month. Early episodes. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's jump into this society in which we live.
Let's jump in the society of
one might say
we live in a society,
and you know what, if I had to sum it up, I would say
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
we haven't used that one in a while.
That's actually what you sound like right now, Alex.
That's great. Let's jump into it. Look at these turkeys.
Look at these turkeys.
That was cool. Audacity's free.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Isn't free open source stuff awesome?
That works, by the way. That fucking works.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it kind of seems like artists and, like, you know, tech developers, like people that develop, like, applications like that, are in it for the art of it. And,
yeah.
And not to make a profit, like in the case of Audacity. And thank you for bringing that up, actually, because I don't know if you're on the show notes yet, but I just finished writing up a segment on a court case involving the Internet Archive.
What, like a tennis court case?
Yes, Gavin. Yes. Yes, they played tennis.
Like a man and a woman are getting into like a relationship, so it's like a court. They're courting case. They're courting each other.
Yep. That's it. Yep. Yeah. Anyway.
Or like someone has a speech impediment, so they're trying to say chord, but they pronounce D's as T's.
Yeah.
So they end up saying court.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna let you get the rest of those out of your system, and then I'm gonna start.
They take some time to ferment. So keep going. I'll let you know.
All right.
My people will talk to your people.
Well, anyway, funny you bring up the Audacity thing and how great free stuff is, because there's a court case involving the Internet Archive, which, if you don't know, it's for the purposes of this segment. Part of it is they lend out books and like other works as sort of like a digital library. And there's a court case. 4 publishers are suing Internet Archive over, you know, what they claim is a copyright issue. Like, they're claiming that Internet Archive is doing something tantamount to piracy by lending out digital copies of books.
Imagine like Jack Sparrow, like, well, actually, I'm just putting this on a server, and
I've got the Fault in Our Stars on a flash drive.
I got a flash drive in dirt. I got a flash drive in dirt. And guess what's on the flash drive that's in the dirt?
So to my knowledge, the latest development in the case is that a judge has sided with the publishers, like pretty clearly, like landslide decision in favor of the publishers. An avalanche of decisions against Internet Archive. And at the top of this, I'll say, I will link this in the description. Local news station did a segment talking about Internet Archive a few months ago and like the important work that they do. And they like talked to an expert I think he's like affiliated with Internet Archive, but yeah, they talk about like what they do, why it's so important.
So wait,
watch that.
this expert used to work for the shampoo company Pert because they're expert.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, one of the
Aren't I funny? Anyway, aren't I funny?
No. No. It's funny how not funny it is when you do that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, the central concept in this case is controlled digital lending, which is basically the practice of a library making a digital copy of a book that they have and then lending that book out in lieu of the physical book. So it's kind of a one-to-one translation of the function of a library to like the digital age.
Okay.
And I guess the catalyst for this case is that Internet Archive went from, this sort of standard procedure that they do where they have, one digital copy that they lend out in lieu of the book, and they only lend it out to like one person at a time. They just switched it all to being unlimited at the start of the pandemic, like April 2020, I believe is when they did it, because all of the libraries, all of the schools were shut down, and they were like, hey, this is kind of an unprecedented lack of access to, books and other media, stuff that you would get at a library. So they switched it over unilaterally to an unlimited lending system. And that's kind of what pissed off publishers enough to bring it to a court case. And they're using fair use, as a defense, which I have issues with because it's a really shaky legal defense. They're arguing that it's transformative to scan a copy of a book and lend it out as a digital copy. I kind of agree with the judge in this case that really isn't transformative.
No, it's not, because I view transformative as being like it's something in and of itself.
Yeah, well, legally speaking, a transformative work is something like a review or like commentary, like, the most applicable or the most common application of fair use is like on YouTube, people make a video and they use a clip from a movie, like what I do with our clips channel. And, it gets automatically scanned by the DMCA system. So, you get a copyright claim and then you have to dispute it. And one of the most common defense is fair use. And to be transformative, you basically have to not be presenting the media as it is. You have to add a new message to it, basically, like put a new spin on it.
Okay.
And that usually takes the form of like, hey, this is my opinion on this work. Or, here's a remix of this work if it's like a song. So that's kind of, that's what the realm of transformativity is. And I don't think this falls into that. So I think that's not the best defense they could use.
Right.
But, I'm kind of an armchair expert here. I don't really know what defense would be better.
Right.
But I do think there ought to be some kind of legal defense for that practice, for lending out a digital copy of a book in place of a physical copy. Like it's been done. Like it's kind of like, a practice that is common, but I don't think there's a lot of legal precedent over it. But
it would be transformative, I think, if they had someone like, or the people who are getting free digital copies, if they had them read excerpts from it and record it so that they could make an audiobook of it, because then technically they're doing a job.
Well, an audiobook wouldn't be transformative either. I don't think, to my knowledge, it's not transformative because you're just representing the original work. Right. And I don't know if making it into an audiobook constitutes being transformative. But yeah, if there isn't a law protecting that, I think maybe there should be, because conceptually controlled digital lending is the same as a library, and there's no legal problem with libraries. We've had them forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think it's just a case of publishers being greedy.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading through my notes because I just typed this up, so I don't have it all memorized yet. But yeah. So, do you know what the first sale doctrine is?
No.
So it's the idea that if you buy a book, you're allowed to resell it, or you're allowed to lend it to someone. You're basically allowed to do whatever you want with that book or movie or whatever, but usually it's talked about in the context of a book. So the first sale doctrine, according to this judge, I'll just read an excerpt from the article that I was reading as research. In Redigi, the Court of Appeals plainly held that the first sale doctrine does not include a right of reproduction, and that any broader scope of the first sale doctrine should be sought from Congress, not the courts. The judge held, citing landmark 2018 appeals court decision, which held there was no resale right for digital works under Section 109 of the Copyright Act because, unlike physical works, the digital market necessarily involves the use of unauthorized copies. I disagree with that. I think it's a case of, just like with the TikTok hearings that have been going on, I think it's a case of like someone like in the legal system not really having a grasp of what the digital age is and like how media in the 21st century works. Because like, I'll use an example. Like I back up all of my movies onto Jonathan, my Plex server. Right. And I don't know how much legal precedent has been set, but like just thinking about it, like conceptually, like, just looking at it, like how, like applying how we've thought about works previously to how like it is now, right? Like the idea of making a backup of a copy of something that you own, as long as you're not like reselling the physical copy, because like that gets into the realm of piracy. But if you own the copy and then you have your digital backup that you watch in the place of the physical copy, like you get how that's not copyright infringement.
Right, yeah.
And I think that isn't really understood by this judge. I agree. I think that's just a fundamental problem with how this case has been heard.
Right.
Let's see. Anyway, I brought up the National Emergency Library thing. That was how they unilaterally made all lending unlimited. Let's see. There's another excerpt from the article that I will read. Currently, most trade publishers license ebooks to publishers only on limited terms, generally 2 years of access or 52 lens, whichever comes first, before the title must be relicensed, which librarians say inhibits their ability to build digital collections for the public. In addition, a number of older titles don't have digital editions, librarians add, and are not likely to get a commercial digital edition because the works have no commercial appeal or their rights situations are unclear. So my takeaway from that is, maybe we should expand librarians' rights, because what that basically laid out is, instead of how physical books are dealt with in the library system, where they buy the book, somehow the library obtains a copy either through buying it from the publisher or getting it donated to them. They're allowed to just lend that book out. They don't have to pay any extra fees. They don't have to license the book. They just have that copy of the book and they're allowed to do what they want with that copy, because of, like I mentioned earlier, the first sale doctrine.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree with the idea that libraries should have to license books that they want to lend out. I kind of have two opinions on this. One of them is like the way things are opinion, and the one is the way things should be opinion. Like the way things are, I think it makes sense that if a library has a copy of a book, they should be allowed to make a digital copy, but they should only be allowed to I guess it makes sense to only allow one lend out per physical copy that you have. So like if you have one copy of The Catcher in the Rye, you scan it, you make the PDF of it, you can lend that out to one person at a time as if it were a physical copy.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense under our current economic and legal setup.
Well, I mean, you also have to look at it too that technically it's not just, you know, the lending out of a book, it's also the lending out of an idea, which in and of itself, you know, like, even though a digital copy would be inherently physically different than the book, right? It still is used for the same reason.
I think it's like a digital equivalent. That's how I view it.
Right. And so I agree with you there, where it's like you can make a digital copy off something that because the library buys it from the publisher, as I think it works, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Currently, like in the traditional model, a library acquires a book either from buying it through a publisher, like if it's a new book if it's a new release, they'll usually buy it from the publisher.
Right.
Older stuff, they either buy it from the publisher or sometimes they get them donated. So those are the usual two avenues.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, they buy a copy and then they can make one digital copy per physical book that they have. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like under like our current organization of the economy, like I don't agree with like the. Well, I'll get to what I think in a second, but yeah, it makes sense at least. I'll say under our current organization of the economy. But I think if we're talking about like what should be, like if if I had God mode and I could just like make it how I want,
Yeah.
I think that I think capitalism holds back this particular technological development. I think if we're talking about what should be done, I think art should be preserved. I think it should be accessible by everyone. And I think that if it is possible to make a digital copy of something and lend it out, and if it's possible to make it accessible to the masses, I think it should be accessible. And I don't like that, that is held back by, the need for publishers to make a profit.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Overall, I just think we need like a massive overhaul of our copyright system because like it's already been pushed so far from what it originally was. I think everyone knows at this point that Disney pushed it so far. Like it used to be way shorter. The term for copyright used to be way shorter. It was like, I want to say like 7 years, but it was like in the territory of like.
Now it's like 50.
Now it's like the artist's life plus 70 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at minimum, like, if we're talking about what ought to be done, I think that should be rolled back to, pre-Disney, the pre-Disney rules.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to rethink how, the law is structured because it's fundamentally different from how it was even like 30 years ago. Like we didn't have, things like the Internet Archive.
I think that if we change copyright law to be more progressive, they should just start calling it copyleft.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think they should do that. I think that would be a really funny bit.
Do you though?
No, actually, if they did that, I would be fully on board with that just because I love the idea of them doing a dumb thing like that.
Right. Me too.
Yeah. Like one reason we need to roll it back. So like a lot of works are held by defunct publishers or they're otherwise artificially kept from the public. Like one particular issue that I think a lot of people are aware of now is video game preservation. Like the 3DS and Wii U eShop just closed down. The Completionist on YouTube actually put out a video where he buys every single title on the Wii U and 3DS eShop. And then he donates it to, I forget the organization, but he donates it to an organization like Internet Archive. And I think that's really cool. But Nintendo has made no efforts to preserve their own games. They actively suppress the preservation of old games that they published because they want to maintain the possibility of someday selling it back to us
For a marked up price.
for a marked up price, or like rolling it in with a subscription.
Right.
I just disagree fundamentally with the idea that we should protect publishers' rights to someday make even more profit off of.
Right.
Let's be real here. Other people's work,
Mm-hmm.
like the people running Nintendo, did not make Super Mario Bros.
I know, and I get your point there, but also, like, Nintendo did pay the person who freely agreed that the creation that they make will be owned by Nintendo.
Yeah, and they've made their profit off of it. They sold it a lot, like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just think the idea that like they need to make even more money off of it now, like, come on, you had your chance. And you
Right.
made a lot of money off of it.
Mm-hmm. Not even just a lot of money, but like a lot of money to have sex with. Like a lot of fucking money.
Mm-hmm. A lot
You know
of
what I mean?
fucking money. A lot of
lot of
money
fucking
to
money.
fuck with.
To fuck. Imagine how confused aliens will be when we because we use the word fuck in every single other every other sentence.
Or
They're
just
like, wow, this
non-English speakers.
these people these things just fuck a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Have a lot of procreation there. So no, we just throw that in every other sentence.
Yeah. But like that, that sort of prioritization of publishers' rights to someday make some hypothetical profit has led to a lot of works being inaccessible.
Mm-hmm. So funny story too. Because I kind of had that issue with I have a new Nintendo 3DS, right?
Mhm.
Which now isn't new. It's been here. I don't know why it's called new, but
Yeah, it should be called the old 3DS.
it should be called the last Nintendo 3DS. But I was like, oh, I should see what I got some money to throw around. I should see what games I can get to download. So I'm looking through, and it's like, oh, this has been discontinued. Thanks
Yeah.
for shopping with us. And I was like, so now I have to either go to a store.
Yeah, now
get a
you
game.
have to buy it from like, a third-party seller at a huge markup.
Right.
Which ironically,
I'm actually,
Ironically,
So, like-
because of Nintendo being money grubbing, they won't make a profit off of that sale.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of strange,
kind
but
of ironic.
I'm happy because before that even happened, I ended up buying Kirby's Epic Dream Course, and that's
Nice.
that's the game, dude. That's the way to go. It's a
Yeah,
good game.
yeah.
They should
well,
make a
like-
remake of it, actually.
yeah. Well, now the only way to reasonably get any 3DS or Wii U games is either stumbling across a used copy or just piracy.
Right.
Like those are the only two options that we're left with. So legally, we're only left with one option, which is hopefully stumbling across a used copy that's sold at
Yeah.
a huge markup, and none
Or
of the
I
money
can
is
get,
going to
like-
the artists anyway.
Or I can get like a Raspberry Pi and download an emulator on it, and then pirate all the games.
No, we can't condone that.
I'm not saying that other people should do that. I'm saying that's a theoretical, hypothetical
Yeah,
thing
should be
that
fully
could
legal.
Be done. Could be done.
Yeah. I think I've said
We're-
it before on the show, but in my opinion, once a publisher has ceased, production, publication, whatever you want to call it, like once they're done selling a work, it should go into either the public domain or have some kind of, quasi public domain quality, assigned to it, where like you can freely access it. Because like the publisher isn't making money off of it regardless. They're just holding on to their right to someday make some kind of hypothetical profit.
Just like my parents' marriage.
Yeah, and I alluded to it before,
JK.
but the way that we structure media ownership now isn't even designed to help artists. It's designed to enrich publishers.
Right.
Like, an artist will get some amount of money for writing a book, for example, and then they make some residuals off of sales, but most of the money goes to publishers.
Yeah.
So, like,
100%.
Think of the artists doesn't apply as much as a lot of people think it does.
Mhm.
I don't know. Fuck publishers is kind kind of my point. And like when you talk to artists, like when artists talk about this particular issue or like the idea of like loaning out their work, they're all for it.
Yeah.
Like whether it's like, you know, web developers, like people that develop like games or people that like, you know, produce movies, right? Or
like
whatever.
even people that like
the creative people.
Right. Yeah.
Like when you talk to them about it, they're like, yeah, I want people to see my work. I think it's good that it's out there. And like,
right.
I think this came up when we did our HBO Max segment, but a lot of artists were like, yeah, this really sucks. Totally don't pirate my work. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, totally don't.
No, that's
totally
why,
don't pirate my show.
That's why Weird Al is the best.
Yeah, Weird Al was like, yeah, there's VPN. There probably no way to watch my movie.
Yeah, I bet you have a torrent of questions.
Yeah, because he's like, I have enough money.
Same with
artists generally, once they have enough money to live, they don't really care about making more off of their work. Like,
I mean, same with
like that's not the motivation.
Fucking David fucking Radcliffe, fucking
Daniel Radcliffe.
I was gonna be like David Radcliffe. I was like in the ballpark. He has like fuck you money, and he'll just I think I saw an interview with him, and he was just like, yeah, I don't even care anymore. Like, I just do what I want to do, and
yeah,
if you don't like it, well, I got money. I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah. That's all to say. It's not the artists that are behind this. It's publishers. It's people who just want to make money off of other people's work that are spearheading this movement to take down Internet Archive. Like Daniel Radcliffe, for example, he's like the kind of actor, or like I think he's said in particular, like he has said himself, like, yeah, I only care about the money to the extent that it now grants me the ability to do whatever creative project I want.
Right.
Whereas publishers are like, no, we need even more money. We've already made $1 billion off of all of the Harry Potter books, but we need to make even more.
Listen, we've already bought the moon, but we want the solar system.
What if we made NFTs? Like NFTs are just a bastardization of what the internet should be. Like it takes this entity that exists beyond the concept of scarcity and applies artificial scarcity to it.
Right.
Like I've said before, in a post-scarcity world, capitalism doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I wish I had more commentary on it, but I just like, those are objective facts that
Yeah.
Why do we have hungry people?
Yeah. Like we were talking on the phone yesterday about how like, yeah, we have enough food. Why do we make people pay for it? Why do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some people pay for it and they're like, oh shit, I don't need 8 pounds of meat. I need to throw half of this away.
Yeah, we throw out so much food. Like throw a rock in the internet and it'll hit a story about like someone that works at like a restaurant or a store talking about how they have to throw out food and they're not allowed to take it or give it to people or else they'll be like sued or fired.
I heard a really kind of sad story about like the issues with like luxury like restaurants. So like Gordon Ramsay's restaurants, right? Where it's not necessarily about how good the food tastes, it's about the experience. Right? Almost like the menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
man, it seems like the menu is trying to say something about society.
The issue being that they'll take like an entire orange, right? But they only need like 5% of the orange's skin to make a garnish, and then the rest of the orange just gets thrown away.
Really makes me think about how
we live in a society.
But yeah, that's
I don't agree with Jared Leto often. And even then, that's not Jared Leto actually like saying that. That's the character that he's portraying.
It's the
saying
Joker.
That. It's the Joker.
Arguably a worse person, but maybe.
Arguably,
Let's go with they're equally bad.
You know, when
Jared
you think
Leto
about
is equally as bad as the Joker.
Maybe, but when you think about it, Joker isn't like he has a point. I feel like where he's just like, no, listen, just fucking listen. He has a fucking point.
I love how you're so careful about what future employers could possibly hear, and then you're like, the Joker had a point though.
Well, oh yeah, listen, it's not up to some vigilante.
You know, we really do
fucking
live in a society.
No, this is the point. This is the societal point, Alex. Okay, listen, stop laughing. Stop it. I see you. I see it. Wipe that. Listen here,
All
you
right,
dog-faced pony soldier.
All right, I wiped it off.
All
I wiped
right.
off my smile.
So, what the Joker is trying to say is, right? It should
tell
be
me
up
what
to
the
some...
Joker's trying to say.
Okay, here's the thing, Alex.
Oh, he's telling us the thing. He's telling us what the Joker meant.
So, listen, it shouldn't be up to some fucking vigilante to tell everyone what's what and to set the societal rules for the society. That should be up to society.
The society
and our
in which we live.
And our institutions, which in Gotham are sorely lacking.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why the Joker does what he does then. It seems like he would want to like take a political science class, maybe a criminal justice class, get a PhD in those fields, and then like, because if you think about it, if he went through the same amount of effort to get a bunch of cronies and to get a bunch of dudes to like kill other people and do bad things, it's a lot harder to do that than it is to go to college.
I don't know.
Anyway, my point is we live in a society, and I think Joker...
You think
fucking
Joker should
whatever.
run for public office?
Like in Gotham? Or like, not in Gotham, like in fucking
Like in
Harley Quinn?
like in Harley
Yeah.
Quinn.
Dude, that was great. My
was
mom, I got
great.
my mom hooked on Harley Quinn.
Nice.
She loves it.
That's awesome.
But when he runs for office, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Speaking of media preservation, I really hope the third season gets a physical release soon. Because
Right.
they did the first two, but I guess that was when it was licensed under like the DC streaming service that doesn't exist anymore. And the third season was like produced for HBO Max, which will not exist anymore soon.
For sure.
Yeah, HBO Max is not going to exist.
Right.
It's being changed into yet another HBO streaming service. I think it's HBO Now.
You know, it's weird. It's weird that if you spelt Max backwards, it's not like Sam, it's Zam. Because X makes a Z sound when it's going like that.
Yeah. Never thought of it like that. When you think about it, we do live in a society. But
And if you spell HBO Max or HBO Now, wait, if you spell Max and Now backwards, it would be one Zam.
yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
I wish I were high. I want to be high right now. To any future employer, I'm not high. I just want to be.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that makes it better.
It doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, my main point to wrap it all up, to put it all succinctly, I just think that capitalism has held back art, and I think we need to grow past it. Just as a society, like generally, like I don't think we should have to pay for food when we have an abundance of food. I don't think we should have to pay for healthcare as individuals. When we have an abundance of medicine and doctors, I think it should be free at the point of service. Anything that you need to live or anything that you would die without, it doesn't make sense to make people pay for it when we have it, when we have more of it than we know what to do with. But specifically, all of that, but about books.
Right.
Yeah, that's my point. Anyway, do you want to... Let's see, we're about 40 minutes in. Probably like close to a half hour, cutting out all the rambling at the beginning. Like you making coffee with your Keurig, you wasteful fuck.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, you want to speed round this Justin Roiland story?
Oh, it turns out, here we go. I can do this. I got this.
Are you just going to read my bullet
Roiland.
points?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
just gonna fucking raw dog it here. Justin
raw dog
Roiland
it.
was, that's the verbiage.
To any future employers, we're not actually raw dogging. He's wearing a condom.
I have socks on. Then, oh my god, he almost had me say to any future employers, Justin Roiland.
To any future employers, Justin Roiland is technically innocent.
Is technically legally innocent. He was accused and brought to court on charges of it was false imprisonment, and domestic violence. Was it?
It was like domestic assault and battery.
Yeah.
And it was like false imprisonment by like menace, intimidation, or I want to say like coercion. Something along those lines. Basically, he's a wife beater, and he, I guess, kidnapped her.
Right. And so, that was a thing. And then he went to court.
Also, I will add, sorry to interrupt again, it's been like an open secret. Like, apparently people just kind of knew how he was, but it was like Harvey Weinstein, where it's like, who's going to say anything?
Right. So anyway, he went to court, got fired from Adult Swim and his game production company, which I forgot
Squanch
what the fuck's
Games.
called. Who cares at this point?
Who cares? They made like one good game.
Yeah. So that's happened, and now a jury said that there's not enough evidence to convict him of those crimes, which doesn't mean that there's not evidence.
Yeah.
It means there's not enough evidence. So while he currently is a free man and is legally innocent of these crimes he's been accused of, doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Right.
Doesn't mean he didn't, like...
Yeah, the case was dismissed
do those things.
Due to lack of evidence, but like, I mean, it's kind of known. Like, a lot of people know how hard it is to prove that kind of crime.
Right.
Like, how do you prove that, you were assaulted?
And
how do we prove
let's make no
that,
mistake either. Like, he's a wealthy guy.
Yeah.
He has made a lot of money on two hit TV shows. And he's bringing in a lot of money for Adult Swim and Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And his victims probably aren't. So he probably has a lot of really great lawyers. For better or for worse. And in this case, I think for worse. But
and our legal system protects the wealthy and powerful more than anything else.
Right. For better or for worse. He is a free man at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot like O.J. Simpson in that he is legally innocent, but like, come on.
I mean,
like
listen,
it's hard to prove like, like domestic assault, like, cause it's like, once the bruises heal, it's like, well, how do we know? And it's like, how do we prove that he did this? And, it wasn't something else. Like, to be clear, I believe the victim in this circumstance.
I 100% believe the victim. Yeah.
But yeah, the trouble is proving that in court, because you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And like, I was
going to say something else. Yeah. I think it'd be funny if you went to a job interview and they're like, yeah, so you went to trial for domestic assault and battery? What and false imprisonment? What happened there? And you'd have to say, I'm legally innocent.
Yeah. I really think, and I don't know if this is an original idea, or I saw someone say this on Twitter, but I really think he's going to have like his own Daily Wire show within a year.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to have some kind of like, you can't cancel me kind of thing, where he's going to like produce a cartoon for them.
And these woke people try to cancel me. And
oh God, he put out a statement that was like, I've been absolved of my crimes, and these allegations were false, and I knew they were false, but like I read it in the Morty voice. And it makes it so much funnier. Like,
these allegations were false.
It's such an unfunny situation, but like reading the statement in the Morty voice just makes it more funny than it really should be.
Oh man, that's not okay.
It's not.
I imagine reading them in the Rick Sanchez.
Morty, the allegations are false, Morty.
No, I want Rick to come in and be like, Morty, we both know, Morty, that those allegations were true, Morty. You're fucked up, Morty.
He also hasn't commented on, his alleged inappropriate messages to minors.
Yeah, like
which is like a whole other thing,
and
whole other
copper
case.
miners, and
Yeah. Not only is he like flirting with minors, I don't know if he's like sent like photos or anything, but like
For the record, we don't mean miners like in the ground. Getting
yeah, not like
resources.
coal
We mean-
miners. Yeah. Glad we distinguished that. Yeah, he's just sending really cringy, like flirting, like messages to kids.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Not good.
Not okay.
Don't do that.
And he has not commented on that at all. Not even to say that it's untrue. But yeah, the only reason I wanted to bring it up is to say, like, you know, just be careful before you join the welcome back committee. You know, don't get on the bandwagon of like, oh, he's innocent, the allegations were false. You know, let's berate women on the internet. Like, don't jump on that bandwagon, you know, so quickly. You know, kind of think it out.
Exactly.
Think it out. Like,
I
yeah,
agree.
he's legally innocent, but like, come on, you know how this stuff goes.
Yeah.
Like, most rapes aren't solved because of how our legal system is structured and how, you know, the police respond to it.
And how societally it's handled.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like report rapes because they're afraid of the societal stigma.
Yeah. And simultaneously, like, people will be like, oh, she's just saying it for attention. She's just trying to get clout. Meanwhile, those are the exact people that are berating victims and making them afraid to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we watched a movie this week.
We did. We watched Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
It's like a version of Care Bears, except they're now selling cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's really not that.
No, at all.
Not at all. Anyway, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good, a little gory for me, but it's definitely one of those movies that you see the trailer and you're like, this can either be a really good movie that dives into some like philosophical stuff without like advertising. Excuse me. Without advertising it, or it could just be bad, or it could just be what it is. And this is a great example of a movie just being what it is.
Yeah, that was kind of my takeaway.
Right, and I'm actually kind of happy about that because sometimes I get anxious when a movie gets all philosophical when I wasn't expecting it, and I'm like, I just want to don't go into that. But
should a bear have cocaine?
But should a bear have? Right.
This really says a lot about the folly of man.
Right. But this is very much a movie where it's like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And it was very gory. And I think they had Ryan Reynolds' son in it, right?
Ryan Reynolds' son?
Yeah, he has a kid, and I think his kid was in the movie. Perhaps, or maybe not.
I don't think so, but I will look it up.
But the fact that they had two kids just being funny kids, I think was a great a great break from the gore.
Yeah.
You know? I think it was pretty cool. There's a scene where the mama bear gets kicked off a cliff and falls, and I'm like, fuck it, god damn it. The bear doesn't know, guys.
Honestly,
the bear doesn't know.
I was kind of feeling for the bear by the end.
Right, me too. I was like, it's gonna have a terrible hangover after this.
Yeah.
But also, like, it doesn't know it's consuming cocaine.
Right.
It doesn't know that eating people is wrong. It's a bear.
All it knows is when I eat this paper bag, it makes me feel really good. And also, I looked it up. Ryan Reynolds has 3 children, none of which appear to be in this movie.
Never mind. I thought Ryan Reynolds' son was in this. He's not. He's not in this.
Oops. I really like that. Like you said, it just is what it is. It's called Cocaine Bear. Like you kind of know what to expect, and it really delivers on that front. I also like that it's based on a true story, only to the extent that there once was a bear that ate cocaine.
And then died of an overdose.
Yeah, well, that's what happened in real life. The bear and the 2 cubs end up living, like, past the end of the movie.
Right.
Like, they're just thriving on cocaine.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just a family of bears that like to have cocaine together, and it feels really wholesome. But yeah, I just, horror movies in particular have a bad habit of being quote unquote based on a true story. Like, you see it a lot with like paranormal stories where it's like, oh, this is based on true events. And like, the true events is like there was a house that was a little bit creaky.
Yeah, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit and made my tummy rumble.
And it kind of spooked us. Then we moved, like that.
But this is very much like the thing is no one saw the actual cocaine bear like fucking going ham. They just found a dead bear and we're like, hey, there's a dead bear here.
Yeah.
And then they did some tests to make sure there aren't any new diseases, and they're like, the bear died of fucking cocaine.
It died
All right.
very quickly. Actually, I remember even before this movie was announced at all, there was like a Tumblr post that went around like about this story and was like, did you know that there was a bear in the 80s that ate a bunch of cocaine and then died? And then someone was like, for a very limited amount of time, that bear was the apex predator of the earth.
Yeah.
But like,
I like
anyway, I was saying like the based on true events thing, like with most movies, it feels kind of cheap when you realize how little it like actually reflects the real events. But with this, like, it just feels like, yeah, there was a bear that ate cocaine. Do you want the true story? Because it'll be a 30-second short.
It's going to be a bummer that Sarah McLachlan will say, what would you do if there was a cocaine and bear right in front of you?
A day.
You can help us wean these bears off of cocaine.
Yeah,
but
no,
I just love.
I like that they really just said fuck it and made the most entertaining thing they could out of it.
Yeah, no, it's dude, that one scene where the lady's on the stretcher.
And she's like getting road burn on her face.
Oh god, dude, she just falls
me
out of the ambulance
Yeah.
and just gets her fucking shit wrecked by the concrete. Oh,
yeah. Also,
Jesus
like
Christ,
the bear acts completely like uncharacteristically. Like it does not act like how bears act. And they even pointed out like, yeah, no, bears are supposed to be peaceful. And like I don't know what the effects of cocaine would be on a bear, but I feel like even then it wouldn't be like
cocaine are on a human.
Well, I don't feel like a bear would be like seeking people out to brutally murder, but like that kind of goes back to the movie, like just being like fuck it and telling the most entertaining slasher story about a bear on cocaine killing people. It's
right.
Do you care? Do you care about the realism? Come on, just hop on, enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
And I really appreciate that.
I want to put into perspective here for a second how much a bear, even not on cocaine, how much a bear can just ruin your day.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a
can
reason
kill
they
you.
say, what?
That would ruin my day.
Yeah, that would ruin anyone's day. Motherfucker can just rip your arm off with its jaw.
Yeah.
One bite, done.
Kind of
like a
wild.
carrot. Like nothing. It will try to pat you on the shoulder, and then you're bleeding from your veins inside of your shoulder because its claws are that sharp. So when I think of a bear on cocaine, I'm like, I should just die.
Yeah.
I should just die. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I love how also the bear like not only kills people, but it also feels like premeditated. Hold on, Gavin, your webcam's frozen. I don't know if your connection is fucked up or what.
Oh, it's my Wi-Fi.
I mean, you can understand me.
Recording. Oh, I can hear and understand. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. God himself could not stop this show. Anyway, I don't know how much I'm going to have to cut, what I'm going to do to trim around it, but there's an internet outage at my place. And that's why we have to do this jarring
that he owns and lives at because he's an aristocrat.
Yes,
I said that there's an internet outage at your castle.
Yeah, my castle and my ivory tower. There is trouble in paradise. Anyway, do you remember what we were saying about the movie?
No.
I remember saying something about how it's based on a true story, and I just love how loosely it's quote unquote based on a true story. Because it's like, once there was a bear that ate cocaine, the end. Now let's make a summer blockbuster out of it.
Exactly. This is very much a movie that's like, just turn off your fucking head.
Yeah.
And watch someone get mauled.
Yeah. It's just fun.
Mhm.
It's just a fun movie, I think. Oh, what else? I feel like it is definitely a turn your brain off kind of movie. It's like, yeah, we're just here to see a cocaine bear. Oh, I remember what I was saying. I remember the point that I was making. The bear, when it kills people, like, it feels premeditated. Like, this bear seeks out victims. Like,
this bear has stalked them for 2 weeks beforehand.
Well,
and
like,
was trying to take notes on where they were, why they're there.
It takes
how
out
long they're there,
like,
and then it decided to take them out.
It takes out like the park ranger and like the 2 shitheads, or like the 3 shitheads, and it like hides one of their bodies in like the closet, and like puts the body's head like in a bucket, so like it falls on someone when they walk in, and the bear is inside waiting. And like, there's no logical reason that it would be. It just is, because that's the kind of movie that this is, and I really appreciate that.
Right.
I just love
I love
how it spits in the face of logic.
I like how when the cartel guys are talking with the 3 shitheads, or with the that one shithead, and they end up getting like really close.
Yeah.
Like throughout the walk.
Oh
and
yeah.
And it's really adorable. That one guy whose girlfriend died, and that one kid, and he's just like, I had this what is it? He had a salamander. Because I had this salamander, and I loved him, and then he died, and I was so sad. And they were like talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, it kind of makes you feel for the characters by the end. Like, I'm like, you know what? Good for him. I'm glad that he has that dog. I just want the best for these guys.
I know, it's great. I like the guy in the jean jacket. He reminded me of Mr. Mord.
Which one was that?
The guy in the jean jacket. I forget his name.
Yeah, but like, was he one of the cartel guys, or what was he?
Yeah, he was one of the cartel. He was the son of the main cartel guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was played by the same guy that played young Han Solo in the Han Solo movie titled Solo. A lot of solos.
I like that. That's great.
Yeah. He was he was apparently he like needed acting lessons on set. That's the story I remember hearing. But like, he's a good actor as we see.
Of Solo?
Yeah, on the set of Solo. He was also in Hail Caesar, and he was pretty good in that too. I think he's just good at playing like sort of a lovable doofus. And I just think Han Solo is very outside of that wheelhouse. He's probably one the kind of actor that can only play one type of guy, but play it pretty well. Right. Yeah. But I will say, what do you think of the CG bear?
I mean, the thing is, I'm not here in this movie to watch this amazingly detailed CG bear.
Yeah, but like I personally think that like, yeah, the effect was like kind of cheap, but I think it looked pretty good, you know, for what kind of movie this was. Yeah. Like it's not like a nature documentary. Yeah, really makes me appreciate how far like CGI has come to where like a stupid like low budget like slasher kind of movie like this can have like decent computer effects. I just think that's neat. Right. I love that scene where the cocaine bear is running up to the ambulance and it jumps, and it's like, this is totally, you can't jump you can't just be running at 35 miles per hour. Also, the idea that the bear's heart hasn't given out yet. Right. Like, come on. Yeah. But that's the thing. We're not here to do that. We're not here to watch this movie to be like, that's actually not realistic. Yeah. Actually, a real cocaine bear wouldn't do that. A real cocaine bear? Another thing is, I don't think that exists. Another thing is, like, I was kind of jokingly, like, while I was watching it, I was like jokingly being like, oh no, guys, it's the cocaine bear. Like, guys, gotta watch out, it's the cocaine bear. Like, talking as the characters. But then the kid actually like refers to the bear as the cocaine bear. And I just love that. Right. Like, I was doing it as a joke. It's like, I just remember that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like, yeah, he's pointing at the TV. Right there. He said it. He said it. He said the thing. He said the thing. I just love the idea of there being a horror monster that is the cocaine bear. You know what I mean?
Right, just a normal bear
I'm
high on
just
Colombian
so
nose
glad that
candy.
exists. I want
great.
to I want to thank each and every
But when I
cast and crew member that made this movie happen.
Right. I like the fact this happened in sorry, I don't like the fact this happened in real life because I just feel bad for the bear.
Oh yeah, poor bear.
Poor bear. He didn't know. I bet he was freaked out. He just didn't know what was going on with him.
Yeah.
But he was just like,
A bear doesn't know what cocaine is.
Right. And I feel bad because he's just a bear. He's just a little bear doing his berry business.
Yeah.
Oh, you go out again?
No, I'm still here.
There we go.
There's just like a delay.
Hello?
Hello?
You're breaking up a lot.
Oh, is it
Hello?
like a connection
Hello?
thing?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. A lot. You're breaking up a lot.
Okay, how am I now?
A little better.
A little better? Am I good now?
There we go.
Okay.
You're good now.
All right. Yeah, we're just going to have to deal with those for now. I apologize to the listener. I love how that happens right as I'm explaining, like, hey, I had to join Discord on my phone, so there might be some issues. And then there was immediately an issue.
I'm happy. I'm just happy that this time the technical malfunction isn't on my end. Usually it's my problem.
Yeah, now I just
Usually
have
it's
to
like,
give
Gavin,
myself the lashings.
I'll be like on the phone with you and I'll be like, Alex, my computer isn't turning on. What's going on? And you'll be like, when's the last time you charged it, Gavin?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, charging? What's that? And you'll be like, okay, so you know that cord that came with the computer. You need to plug that into an outlet and then into your computer. And I'll be like, my computer doesn't have an outlet. Or you'll be like, no, Gavin.
Or you're like, my computers or my Google Drive has run out of storage or my computer's run out of storage. And I'm like, well, have you tried deleting old files? And you're like, oh, you mean I don't need to keep every single recording that we've done?
No, Gavin, you don't.
Also, Ray Liotta's last movie. I don't really know much about Ray Liotta. I guess he's a big deal. But it's his last movie. Some people are upset about that because some people just do not like this movie. And I disagree with those people. I think they don't get it.
And they're like, actually, the trails don't look anything like that. There's no cocaine in those trails.
I would be so honored to have this be my last movie.
Ray Liotta, was he the chief of police guy?
No, he was the cartel guy, the dude's dad.
Oh, didn't he die?
Yeah, that's why I say it was his last movie before he died.
You broke up. That's why I'm like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I ever don't listen, it's actually because you broke up. So it's actually your fault.
It's actually your fault.
Actually, so I'd say best movie ever.
I would say actually it's pretty good. It's really good.
It's pretty good.
I liked it.
I don't rewatch a lot of movies, but I could easily see watching this, like showing it to a friend. Like showing it to like a lot of friends if I had those and like not getting tired of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times you show a friend a movie and you're like, okay, the only reason I'm enjoying this is because I'm like watching my friend watch it. But like, I could watch this again, I think.
Right.
And that is
100%.
high praise for a movie to get.
Right.
Me.
It's weird because I have the opposite opinion. It's like I liked it the first time I saw it, but I can't see myself ritualistically watching it.
I will say
it once and I know what happens and I'm like, cool.
I will say I wouldn't watch it alone again.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
How about now?
You sound like a robot with bronchitis.
How about now?
You sound good.
Okay. Anyway.
You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would watch it again alone, but like, you know, if I were to rewatch it like with a friend or something, like I wouldn't be tired of it.
You're breaking up again. You're breaking up.
Well, whatever. It's not important. The listener got it, and that's what.
You sound like a robot with bronchitis.
Hey, Gavin. Hey, Gavin.
I'm only getting the bits where you're trying to be snarky, and you're like the listeners got it. It's really great.
Yeah. All right. How am I now?
You're good. But
okay.
I don't know how long.
Anyway, I'm just wrapping up my points, The listener got it. That's what matters. Anyway, best movie ever.
Best movie ever.
Best movie ever. Anyway, it's my turn to pick next week, despite the lies you tried to push last week. It is my turn to pick because you picked American Psycho and Cocaine Bear. I just want to make sure that's established. Now, I have two options that I'm kind of going between for next week's movie, both of which seem enticing. One, a classic, Back to the Future. I have the Blu-ray. I just ripped all of the bonus features from the disc to Jonathan, as I will talk about in recommendations. The other one is M3gan. Do you have you seen the trailers for M3gan?
You broke up again. I can't. What was the second choice?
Have you?
Please repeat yourself.
Okay. All right. Can you? How am I now? Oh, I know.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Are you familiar with the movie M3gan?
No.
It's the one about like the robot doll that like kills people.
Chucky?
It's like Chucky, but it's not supernatural. It's just a robot.
You're breaking up again.
Okay. All right. How am I now?
You're. It sounds like I'm just trying to be a dick, but you're actually breaking up. You're good now.
We live in a society.
Anyway.
Yeah, we do.
Let's. Okay. All right. So I will defer to you. What do you think sounds better? Back to the Future, classic. We all know it. We all love it. Or movie that is like pretty funny, pretty kind of over the top about a robot doll that kills people.
The second one.
Robot doll that kills people? All right.
Yes.
All right. So next week we will talk about M3gan. I got the Blu-ray. It is on Jonathan. So Gavin, you can Plex it if you want to,
awesome.
Which you will have to actually. I shouldn't have phrased
All
it
right.
like it was an option.
I will do that.
All right.
I will do that.
All right. Anyway, let's get to recommendations of the week. Am I back online? Hold on. Let me check. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Saw a little thing that it was back online. Nope. Fuck. All right. If you have anything to add to recommendations, add it. I will not see it, but just, jot it down so you can remember to bring it up. How about that?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to try turning off video and I will see if that helps. That might help with like the voice issues. So let me know how it is. Anyway, I'll do my first recommendation in the meantime. So as I mentioned, so I think I talked to you about this on the phone the other day, but I found online. So backing up, I didn't know that you could like add DVD bonus features to Plex, but I found out you can. So like one of my favorite things about having like DVDs as a kid growing up was like watching the special features. That's something that I liked personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I have that fun thing that I like in the form that I currently now watch movies. And I think that's really cool. I'll link the article on like Plex's like forums. So if you are a Plex guy like I am, and you are in the same position that I was, where you didn't know that you could rip the special features, I will include that article in the description because it's a really cool, useful thing if you have your own Plex server. It's kind of the long and short of it. The second recommendation and my last recommendation is a video of Hassan Piker reacting to an H3 podcast segment where Ethan Klein talks to sort of like one of those like self-proclaimed like alpha male guys. He has like a drop shipping business, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically just buying cheap shit and reselling it on other websites. So like you order
That's stupid.
Yeah, you like order a bunch of stuff from like AliExpress and then like resell it on Amazon with like your own logo slapped on it. It's really unethical and it's just kind of a shitty business model. And that's like what this guy that he was talking to does. Like that's kind of one example of how bad he is. He also has like a lot of really bad attitudes about like women and like the LGBT community.
What? The self-proclaimed alpha male?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me actually. Oh, I just remembered I can't play a video because my internet is out. Fuck. Anyway, I'll just describe it. There was like a part that is particularly great because this guy is like, yeah, I think being gay is a choice. And Ethan is like just Socratic methoding this guy. He's like, why do you think it's a choice? And he was like, he brought up like the left-handed thing that we've talked about before, or like left-handedness used to be suppressed and now it's not, and it's kind of flattened out at a certain percentage of the population. And he's like, so do you think that you chose to be straight? And he was like, well, no, I just am naturally attracted to women. And he was like, yeah, so do you need me to connect the dots for you? And the guy still didn't get it. He was like, right, I need a second to think about it. And it just kind of went over his head completely. Right. It's great. But yeah, this video is like 30 to 40 minutes long. But yeah, I think it's worth it. It's an entertaining watch if you like already agree with us about that kind of stuff. And it also is like useful to know, like, you know, different arguments to bring up if like, you know, you are ever in that situation where you have to like defend the idea of, you know, certain groups existing, you know. Yeah, it's also just entertaining. Right. And if you don't necessarily agree with us, maybe it'll change your mind because Ethan is a very good he's good at using rhetoric, and he's good at like making his point. He's a good debater. Right. Yeah. Anyway, do you have any recommendations?
All right. I would like to say
he's looking around. He's looking around his room. I have a boyfriend. His name is George Glass. That's a deep cut reference, and if you understand what I'm saying, you a real G.
You
can just say you don't have anything.
I got nothing. You know what, Alex? I got nothing. Thanks. Fine. There you go. Now you happy now, Alex? You happy now? Is that what you wanted?
All I want.
Is that what you're looking for?
All I want is honesty.
What's the definition of dishonesty with recommendations? If I actually like something, I recommend mugs.
Oh, I recommend Life cereal.
Hot and cold liquids.
What was the one that you recommended a few weeks ago? Oh, I forget what you were like cereal? Recommending like the concept of like, what was it, like men's heels?
You're breaking up again.
Oh yeah. Convenient excuse. Oh. Am I good now?
I cannot hear you.
Well,
nope.
Fuck. How's this?
We live
I can
in
hear
a
you
society.
now.
You can hear me now?
Nope, never mind. No, I was wrong. I'm not being a dick. I cannot hear you.
This is my connection when I ask it to be stable.
I ain't gonna do it.
Could you hear enough of that to make out what it was?
For some reason, only the memes I can hear.
Like this is
broken up again.
I think it's. I haven't. Look, I have trouble even saying to myself my own head the number of years. I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than.
I need to fix that sound pad. For some reason, it just cuts off at the end. I cut it off too early. Anyway, how am I now? How am I?
You're intermittently in and out. I cannot. At this precise moment, you're fine.
At this precise moment, I'm fine. All right. Anyway,
I don't mind.
Okay.
Nope. Yep.
All right.
Nope.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna start doing the outro. Can you hear me enough to know what I just said?
Yeah, you're gonna do the outro.
I'm gonna do the outro. Yeah, I'm gonna do the outro. Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Bold of You to Say. Whether or not we like it, this is the show. This is the end. Not necessarily by our own choosing. This is just what we've been left with. If you liked it, then like it. If you subscribe, then subscribe. And if you comment, it better be nice, because we are hanging by a thread. Please subscribe on Patreon so I can, I was going to say so I can afford better internet, but, monopolies. Anyway, share the show with a friend, tweet our clips, tweet our episodes. Our clips channel is in the description, so subscribe there if you want clips from this show. It's kind of self-explanatory, but share those around. They're very digestible. You know what? I'll add a recommendation very quickly. I did a set at the Blind Pig comedy show, and that will be up on the podcast feed by the time this is up. It was very good. It was a very good set. In my opinion, I did very well. I was described by one audience member as the least racist person in the lineup. So, that's something. Anyway, go listen to that. Share it around. Help out my career. Get me to the point where I feel comfortable uploading to YouTube. Because let me be honest, I need an audience of people that will be positive towards me. YouTube is not kind to new comedians with no audience. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go. We are defeated.